Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, I'm Shakira and I am now a third year 5th grade teacher, and that sounds so weird to say, but yeah, welcome back. So today I'm going to be doing a honest teacher Q&A. I thought that would be fun to do for my first summer teacher vlog or whatever. So I asked you guys to ask me some questions about things that you are interested about as far as like my personal life, teaching, advice, and just whatever you guys wanted to ask. And so I'm going to be answering them. It's not going to be in any particular order. I'm just going to answer them in the order that you guys asked them. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So the first question that y'all asked was, what do you love to do outside of teaching? Self-care tips during the school year. So what do I love to do outside of teaching? So I really love YouTube. That is a new hobby that I obviously picked up last summer, and this is honestly one of my favorite things to do. It is like another newfound passion of mine. I love it so much. I love making vlogs and editing videos and all that stuff. So I guess social media is my hobby. It's really fun to me. I also like hawking. Oh my goodness. I also like hiking with John and our dogs and just spending time with them and just hanging out with my friends. But that is pretty much what my hobbies are outside of school. Like honestly, I also like to sleep a lot. Pretty much what I do outside of teaching. And then self-care tips during the school year. So finding balance and leaving work at work, and I feel like that is so hard to do as a teacher because you can't finish work at work. But I just came up with this motto as the teacher's to-do list is always going to be never ending. So it doesn't matter how long I stay at work, it's still gonna be something else to do. So I always leave work no later than 3, and whatever I didn't get done, it'll get done the next day. It can wait. And then also not responding to any emails over the weekend, and that I guess are some self-care tips. Just really finding a balance so that when you're not at work, you're not thinking of work. So the second question that y'all asked was, how did you build relationships with your coworkers? So just being honest, I feel like it is so hard to how do I want to say this? Teaching is very woman dominated and our personalities can clash a lot. So yeah, you can build relationship with your coworkers, but I feel like there's always going to be cattiness. Like I feel like no matter where you go to teach, there's so much cattiness because we're all women at the end of the day. Well, obviously there's men in teaching. I don't want to like negate them, but it is a lot of women in teaching. And so I feel like bickering and all that stuff is going to come regardless. But building relationships, I know that me and my coworkers, we like to hang out over the summer, or that is something that we did when I was new to my team, and just stuff like that. But I guess like you spend every day together for the majority of the year, so you're gonna naturally build relationships, and it's okay if you're not that fond of some of your coworkers too. I mean, at the end of the day, we're not going to work to be friends with teachers. We're going to work to do our job, and that is to work with students. So that's how I see it. You're not always going to be friends with your coworkers. You're not always going to like them. So don't feel some type of way. And there is Rambo, but don't feel some type of way if you have issues with coworkers, because I feel like, or what I've noticed is, no matter like what team you're on, what school you're at, you're unfortunately probably going to walk into some issues every now and then. But I feel like that's for any job. So don't think like that it's going to be like roses and rainbows all the time, because that's not reality. It's just life. But yeah, that's my little tidbit, I guess, on coworkers. I'm just gonna leave it at that, because if my coworkers watch this, I don't want them to be like, oh, so you don't like me and da 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 da, because that's not what I'm saying. But yeah, whatever. We're just gonna move on to the next question. So the next question is, what advice do you have for someone moving to a testing grade? For me personally, I truly do not care about testing. I just feel like I'm not teaching so that students can pass the test. That's not why I got into teaching. I got into teaching to inspire kids, you know, to have fun with them, to build relationships, and just be a part of their growing experience in life, not to make sure that they make a certain average or score on a test. So me personally, I could care less about a test regardless of what grade level I'm in. I mean, I'm going to a testing grade level, obviously 5th grade, but 4th grade we did do testing too. So I guess advice that I could give to you is just treat it just like a non-testing grade level. Like, it's not our job to teach to a test. That's not effective teaching. And even with my students, like, I tell them, you know what, this is something that you guys got to do. It doesn't, you know, define who you are as a student, and I know it doesn't define who I am as a teacher, so we're just gonna do this test and we're gonna move on. But yeah, I don't make a big deal out of it because I don't think that it's a big deal, and I know like a lot of schools or states try to put pressure on teachers, but for me personally, I just don't care. I don't know if that's the best way to say it, but I really don't. I feel like one test is not going to show what a student can really do or show everything that you've taught them. So yeah. The next question is most valuable takeaway from teaching. Hi buddy. So I would say having patience. I feel like teaching has, I don't know, like I feel like you cannot be a teacher and not have patience, and I feel like that is something that you can take elsewhere in life, because you're working with kids and you know their lives, like their worlds are so different from our own, and things that aren't a big deal to us aren't a big deal to them, or it takes them a slower time to do things, so that we have to repeat directions like 15,000 times. And that's fine because they're kids, they're still developing and they're still growing, so you have to have a lot of patience with that, and then also working with other people as well who you have different viewpoints from. And I just feel like you have to have a lot of patience. You can't get through teaching without having patience. So I guess a takeaway that I could take away from it is just really developing a lot of patience. What is a self-contained classroom and why do you love it? So when I first got hired, I was hired to be a departmentalized teacher, and a departmentalized teacher is when you only teach a certain set of subjects. So like when I first got hired, my subjects that I taught were math, science, and social studies, and I had a partner teacher, and so she taught ELA, and so I had a homeroom, she had a homeroom, and then we would swap kids midday and then teach those new set of kids our subjects again. And I mean, it was fine. I thought that's what I liked because math is my favorite subject, so I was like, this is perfect, I only have to teach math. But being a self-contained teacher this year, even though I was digitally, I felt like I was so much more closer and connected to my students than I was when I was departmentalized, because you're working with one set of students, you get to spend all day with them. I feel like it's more flexible too. Like in departmentalized, once you run out of time, that's it, because it's not just your schedule, you're working with another teacher, the kids have to swap at the same time every day regardless of what you did or didn't get to, and then you have to wait until the next day to like get to that. But I feel like in self-contained it's a lot more flexible, and I just love being around the same group of kids all day versus just switching. And I have come to realize that I kind of like teaching ELA a little bit, so that is why I really asked to be a self-contained teacher moving forward, and I'm super excited to keep doing it. Was teaching something you've always wanted to do? No, absolutely not. I went to, well, growing up I danced. I like started dancing when I was 4, and I literally danced all the way up, and then I went to a performing arts high school, and so we had a major, and my major was dance. And so in high school I thought I wanted to be a professional dancer, but me and my mom, she was like, you know, dance is not a career, da da da. So then I was like, okay, I'll do like I'll be a physical therapist or whatever, because it's still with movement. So I started out majoring in exercise science, absolutely hated it, and then I transferred to go to school at Kennesaw in Atlanta, and then there I switched my major to dance, and then I found that I absolutely hated it. And I knew for sure that I just did not want to be a dancer. Like I love dance, but it wasn't enough to make a career out of it. So I was like, okay, what on earth am I gonna major in? So I taught some dance classes like on the side, and I realized that I love teaching dance. So I was like, okay, well maybe I'll like just teaching, period. So then I was like, let me just take this leap of faith, and I switched my major to education, and thank goodness I liked it, and here we are. Ooh, this is a juicy one, y'all. Oh my goodness. This one is, how long do you think you will stay a teacher? Okay, so I said this was an honest Q&A, so I have to be honest. Let's just rip the band-aid off. If everything works out how me and John plan for it to, I am going to stay in teaching for 1 more year, and that is because I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I want to be able to witness all those moments with my own children, and I want to try and teach them. Obviously, you know, if it doesn't work out, they're going to go to school, and I really don't want to miss all those little moments, and I just want to stay home with them. And well, John has been talking to me about this and trying to make me feel more confident, but I always feel like so not like self-conscious, because I am confident in being a stay-at-home mom, and obviously if I'm gonna have the chance to do that, I'm gonna take the opportunity. But I guess I feel hesitant about like sharing it with people and being open about it, because I feel like some people like to place their opinions and say what they would do, what they wouldn't do, and I feel like being a stay-at-home mom is like such a taboo thing, or like I don't know why people put so much negativity on it. Like why, like obviously people can do what they want, but like if you have the opportunity to stay home and be with your kids, why not? But I feel like there's so much judgment that's placed on that, and you know, like people saying, well, why are you throwing away your career, or how can you rely or put your financial standing on someone else? And I just feel like people just have a lot to say about being a stay-at-home mom, and I just don't want to get that backlash. But regardless, that's what I want to do, and so that is what we're gonna do. So I guess long story short, I'm gonna teach for 1 more year, and if things work out how we want it to, I am going to resign and be a stay-at-home mom, because that is what I want to do, and John is happy with that too, so I'm gonna take it and run with it. But yeah, and I guess also I was hesitant about saying it because I built my YouTube around teaching, and I know it's not about like keeping followers or whatever, because this is my journey, it's my channel. I can say or do whatever I want on it, but I don't want people to be like, oh, you're gonna be a stay-at-home mom, why should I even follow, or I guess care about what you say about being a teacher when you're not even gonna stay one. So it's just all these random thoughts that I have about not wanting to share this. But yeah, I'm gonna teach for 1 more year, and I'm gonna be a stay-at-home mom. And so obviously once I am not working and I'm staying home with our kids, I am just gonna transition my channel into, I guess, documenting our lives, and I guess being a motherhood channel. And yeah, and technically, because I'm gonna be teaching them, I'm still gonna be sharing like teaching tips. It's just gonna be from birth all the way up to 5th grade, because I am not doing anything beyond that. If we make it up to 5th grade, they will be going to school to middle school, but whatever. So yeah, that's the answer to that question. Oh my goodness, I'm a little nervous about what y'all gonna say about that one, but I said I'll be honest, so it's out there. There it is. Y'all are asking me some questions. My goodness, y'all are not giving me these easy questions. So the next question is, how do you feel about the Georgia Board of Education voting against CRT? And if you don't know what CRT is, hello Roscoe. Hi. I guess Roscoe wants to hear what I gotta say about this too. Move, buddy. So CRT is culturally responsive teaching. So I teach in Georgia, and they just came out with a new policy that we cannot. Okay, Roscoe, you gotta move. So, and then here comes Rambo. Oh my goodness. All right. So they basically came out with a new policy that we are not allowed to discuss or teach anything regarding race, or race inequalities or anything like that in the classroom. Just being honest, I absolutely hate it. I feel like, is my camera crooked? But I just feel like how that policy is just doing a disservice to our students, to our country, to our world, because I feel like we all have different ethnicities, we all have different races. So how can you bring students into a classroom where there are going to be other races other than their own, and we also live in a world where racism is an issue to this day, obviously, and you know, we're in a world where there's social media and kids can get their hands on information if they want to or not. So I just feel like that is just not a good decision, because that needs to be talked about, and it needs to be talked about in a safe environment. And I feel like the classroom is a safe environment. The dogs are being a hot mess right now, but I just feel like kids are going to ask questions. They're curious. My students had a lot of questions this year and I absolutely answered them, and I feel like I just don't even have words for it. Like, honestly, like, I'm trying to make it make sense and it doesn't make sense. I'm just disappointed. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. So the next question is, are you doing any over the summer prep for next school year? If so, what? So I think this question is hilarious. Like I said, for being honest, absolutely not. I'm not doing any prep. Just because I feel confident in my teaching, and I've acquired a lot of stuff the last couple of years. Like, as far as like decorating, my classroom is pretty much going to be the same, except for just upgrading like to a couple other things, which y'all will see in my setup videos, so get ready for those. Because when y'all see my new classroom, y'all gonna be like, girl, you gotta get this thing together. But as far as like prepping, I'm not really concerned about prepping over the summer, because this year was a lot and I am just not really concerned about teaching things right now. And just being honest with you, I'm probably not going to even look at anything until like a couple of weeks before it's time to go back to work. And the only reason I say that is because some of my new team members, they've already sent me stuff before I left. I already asked them like, hey, if you don't mind, can I see like some resources that you have, or like how you just do stuff. And so they shared some things with me, obviously from their permission, and stuff like that, just so I can look through and see what I want. I put a couple of things into my TPT, what do you call it, into my TPT cart, that I think I want to get. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, as far as like my classroom like management and like how I operate different things like math and reading, all that stuff is pretty much going to be the same. It's just going to be with different curriculum, so I'm not too concerned, honestly. Obviously we'll see closer to, but yes, long story short, I'm not really doing no prep this summer. So yeah, and I feel like that's okay. Did you enjoy any aspects of online teaching? What were they? The really only aspect that I really liked of online teaching is that I had the opportunity of seeing what it was like to be a self-contained teacher, and I liked how it forced me to be more creative. And I feel like a lot of things that I did in online teaching I can take back into the classroom for next year. But as far as liking online teaching as a whole, I don't want to do it ever again. And that's the end of the story. I feel like I did the best that I could, but I didn't sign up to be an online teacher. I signed up to be a teacher in a classroom, and that is what I'm looking forward to go back to. What was the hardest part about teaching online? The whole thing, y'all, the whole thing. Like, teaching 4th grade online, trying to differentiate online, try to meet all of kids' needs online. Just the whole thing was just hard, and trying to make it like a traditional classroom, even though it wasn't, it was just a lot. And having to still trying to meet students' needs the best way that I could through a computer, and just knowing that they would do so much better inside of the classroom was just really hard to deal with and see. So I'm ready to be back in the classroom and be able to just be there with my kids. And just, what are you most excited about for 5th? I'm ready for the sassiness, y'all. And I know y'all probably like, what? But I just love sassy kids because I can be sassy back with them. And so I'm just excited for that. I'm excited to be self-contained. I'm just excited. And I know it's probably like, what do you mean you're excited for the sassiness? But I love when kids like get their little personalities and they get confident, and I just love that because my 4th graders, obviously they were getting that you know, as they were developing and getting in 4th grade. And I just love when kids get their little personalities and they get confident. So I'm really excited about that. I'm just excited to try something new. I feel like I did really well in 4th grade, and obviously there's always room for improvement. Rainbow, please move, okay? I love you, but move. But I'm just really excited to do something new, and just spend all day with the same group of kids, and I'm ready for their sassiness. So yeah, that is what I'm excited about. And also I am actually excited about the curriculum too, especially the social studies curriculum. We get to talk about like the world wars, the Cold War. We can talk about like the Holocaust and stuff like that, which I think there's gonna be so many good conversations out of that. So I'm so excited to just do all of that. But yeah, so that's what I'm excited about for 5th grade. Thank you for the poll. So some other questions that I got asked were a lot about like I guess like geared towards new teachers and 1st year advice and stuff like that. So I am going to do another video about like, I guess, tips for 1st year teachers, because it seemed like that's what a lot of questions dealt with, and I don't want to like keep y'all too long in this video. Like, this might be a long video, but I'm just gonna do a whole separate video just on that. So like if you are a 1st year teacher, you just want like those tips, it's just another video, and you didn't have to like sit here and wait to hear those specific questions that you want to answer. So I am gonna do another video on all of those questions. But yeah, so that is all of the questions for this honest teacher Q&A. I feel like you guys asked some really good questions and forcing me to be honest. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous about what y'all responses are gonna be to some of my answers, but whatever, it is what it is. We'll see. I hope that you guys liked the video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you have not already, and let me know what other videos y'all want to see this summer. I do have planned like some clothing hauls, some thrifting hauls, just different fun stuff like that. Hi, that are not so teacher related, but let me know what else. Ew, Russell. But let me know. Stop it, you're messing up guys. All right, you know what, bye y'all. I'll see y'all in the next video because we're done.